Happy Sunday, everybody. We're going to go over shoulder stability exercises today. And before I get into it, I'm just going to go on a little bit of a spiel here about the importance of shoulder health and why it's, um, as far as the muscles goes, it's kind of a big deal with Parkinson's disease. And it's not just Parkinson's disease. In the year 2026, we've all spent so much time sitting, and then our shoulders kind of gently roll forward and back. And the muscles in the scapula and the traps and the lats and the back, which holds those shoulders nice and square, start to atrophy. And when they atrophy and people start exercising, often people will get a shoulder impingement, and that's going to sound like a click in your shoulder when you lift it overhead, or a little bit of instability where you can feel it kind of moving in the socket a little bit. And the shoulder is actually designed, you can make it hypermobile and hyper strong, meaning that you can really internally and externally rotate it to a high degree while maintaining strength in it. Excuse me. So I'm going to go through the PDF that I put up here. And the first one is called pendulum swings. So I'll show you what we do with a pendulum swing. You can take a kettlebell just like this. We're going to hinge over at the hips a little bit. My arm's completely straight. And from here, I'm just going to move it in semicircles. Round and round we go. And what we're doing with the shoulder is we're exploring range of motion in it. So we can go back and forth like this. Now I'm just letting that arm hang completely dead. And I'm just feeling that through the shoulder. This is also a really good one for people who have stiff forearms, and that they'll notice that in their symptom arm a lot more. And this is a really good way to lengthen the muscles. So we would go through these pendulum swings. These are pretty self-explanatory. What we want to do is just explore a fairly wide range of motion with these. We just complete those semicircles back and forth. I'm leaning pretty far over here, and then I can go through these things. Now I'm trying not to hold my shoulder up. I'm trying to let it flop down and really feel it pulling in the socket a little bit. And then just explore through that range of motion. These are called pendulum swings. So if you have a shoulder impingement, you might be able to feel your way into it with those pendulum swings. Yeah, so right now you're kind of using your arm strength with it. So let that kettlebell sit just completely straight at the bottom for a second, party, and have that arm go completely straight here. So follow me here. Leslie, I can't see you yet. Your camera is off. You can keep it off if you're wanting privacy this morning. But if you can put it on, then I can see you moving. Oh, I can't. That's all right. Leslie's camera is off. Oh, there you are. Now I can see you. Yeah, I can see you good now. So the crucial component with this one is we want to have a pendulum, meaning no strength in the arm. The arm's not moving it. We're just using our body to rock it back and forth and having it swing freely in the socket. I have a light kettlebell. I start with this one. This is a 13-pound or a 6-kilogram kettlebell. I'm just moving that back. And you want to spend 1 or 2 minutes in your right arm, and then 1 or 2 minutes in your left arm. I'm going to take you into the next one here. Next one we can do sitting down. We can set that kettlebell down. On this next one, I'm seated on my foam block. You can sit in a chair and do it, or you can stand up and do it. And this one, we're just going to be rolling the shoulders in big semicircles. Back and forth. Trying to find the maximum range of motion. So I'm really pulling it forward, opening it up at the back, lifting it high to my ears. And trying to keep my arms completely relaxed with no contraction in the arms itself. Just rolling through those shoulders. Come forward, and then we can go backwards. Now at the back, I'm trying to squeeze my scapula together at the back. Show you what that looks like here. So on my back, trying to squeeze the scapula together at the back and raise and forward. It's a scapular-driven exercise, and learning to engage the scapula is a really crucial component to movement, because a lot of people, they can't really engage their scapula consciously. You can take these ones here. These are called scapular squeezes. I'm just squeezing my scapula together, trying to pinch my scapula together at the back. And hold that pinch and release. Might feel a little uncomfortable until you get used to it. Squeeze that scapula and release. Everything is connected in the body, so learning to activate adjacent muscles is super important. We're trying to activate adjacent muscles to provide additional support and stability for affected areas in the shoulder. I'll take you into the next one here. What's that, Hardy?
Actually, the shoulder problem on the right side is my biggest problem from Parkinson.
Yeah.
It's almost paralyzed.
Yeah.
So
I would say for you, the first strategy to unparalyze it is learning to engage that scapula and the muscles around it, right? So the traps, the scapula, and the lats.
What is the scapula?
The scapula is that muscle. Yeah, it's the whole back of your shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah. So learning to track it up and down. Right. So learning to track that scapula. Here's another good one. So this one, take my shirt off again so you can see the scapula here. So tracking that scapula up and down the body like this. I'm pulling it down, lifting it tall, just like that. It's a patient exercise with that scapula together. You have to be quite patient with it.
Is this the scapula?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just turn to the left for me, Hardy, so I can see your back. Yeah, there you go. So your whole shoulder blade is your scapula. So imagine that shoulder blade and try to track that shoulder blade as far down the back as you can and as far up the back as you can. That's it. Takes a little while to learn how to engage it. That's it. And then you imagine trying to pinch your shoulder blades together at the back, opening up your chest really wide, and then squeezing those scapula together. It's called the scapular pinch. And it's really good for the upper lumbar and back. Yeah, for you, Leslie, just trying to horizontally pinch it, not coming up, trying to pinch it back at the back together. That's right. And with these exercises, you just want to spend about 3 to 5 minutes on each one. And if you do that about every 2-3 days, after about 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to have an increased range of motion in your shoulder. You're going to have more stability, just building new connections in it.
Is this the correct movement, Lars?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty, yeah, that's it. So you imagine I put my finger on your spine in between your in between your shoulder blades. There it is. I saw it right there. And you're trying to pinch it together. That's it. That's good. That's good. Keep tracking through those. I'm going to show you the next one here. We can relax there. The next one is these big arm circles. I'm going to start coming forwards. Trying to keep my arms completely straight. I'm trying to keep my palms facing up. And just doing big semicircles with your arms tracking through the whole shoulder. And you want to go in one direction for a little while and then the palms come down. We go palms up for a few and then palms down. And then we slowly we go as wide as we can. At the top, there's that scapular pinch, big tall reach. Then we come down to the ground. And then we slowly get narrower and narrower, focusing on palms up for a couple circles and palms down for a couple circles. And we're just going to take it from very wide to narrow. And as we go narrow, we try to increase the tempo a little bit. And then we relax there. Might have a little bit of lactic buildup, so we just breathe that out, let that flush out. And again, every time we're exhaling, we're visualizing those muscles relaxing. So any tension you have in your muscles, you're just breathing it out. So we did forward arm circles on the first one. This next one, we're going to do reverse. We're going to do these big reverse circles. Palms down for a few rounds, and then palms up for a few rounds. Keep your gaze high. Try to look up to the top part of your wall. Try to open up your chest at the top. Palms come down. And we slowly get narrower and narrower. And as we get narrower and narrower, I'm going to try to increase the tempo. Nice and narrow now. Yeah, so go from those big semicircles to small little ones. That's good, Leslie. This is a shoulder for athletes. Shoulder work is typically not part of their program. It's just something that they're constantly maintaining. So you'll find in a lot of exercise warm-up routines, you kind of work through your shoulders because shoulders can be super problematic for people. If you have a muscle imbalance in your back or you have a certain group of muscles aren't firing correctly, then you're going to get a shoulder impingement. And shoulder impingements, they're going to track into the pectoral muscles and they're going to track down into the bicep. If you ever hurt your shoulder, just know that, you know, if it's only in the shoulder, it's a small little injury. When it starts to track further down the arm, that means that your shoulder impingement is getting worse and worse and worse. So then the next one we can do from a seated, I like to do these again from a seated position. I like to do a lot of the shoulder stuff from a seated position so I don't bring my legs into it. So we're going to interlace our fingers on this one. We're going to go straight overhead. And from here, we're just going to be pulling back and forward, trying to get completely straight arms and elbows. Pull back and forward. Back and forward. Now, done correctly, you know you're on the right target with these when you're starting to feel other muscle groups engaging in the range of motion. So when it starts to track into your upper back and lower back even, then you know you're on the right track with these. And that's going to be true for any rehabilitation work. You want to find that your bodily awareness is growing and other muscles are being recruited to help perform the work. That's good. Just rest there. And I'm going to take you into my very, very favorite one. Now, some of the people with PD who've been in this group for a long time have spent a lot of time doing this one. These are called wall slides or wall angles. You can stand or sit against the wall. There's actually quite a bit of detail in this one. So the first thing you're going to notice is my lower back. I'm planting my lower back into the wall. I'm going to push my tailbone into the wall. And I'm going to push my entire spine into the wall so my back is completely flat on the wall. And then I'm going to come up into that hands up position so my arms are at a 90-degree angle. Backs of my wrists are in the wall, against the wall. And from here, I'm going to try to track overhead until I can't anymore. And then back down. These are very hard for a lot of people because they're going to fold forward and they don't have the range of motion. These are going to dramatically improve the dowel work When you can get this full range of motion, it means you have healthy shoulders. So I'm just tracking the backs of my knuckles up and down the wall. And with these ones, you want to do them for about a minute and then rest. And then you do them for another minute. It's good to have that wall. Doing these on the wall is a good idea. Like, show you another version here. Here's a standing one. So on a standing one here, I'm going to put my butt into the wall, round out my lower back, press my whole spine into the wall, arms come overhead, and then from there, I'm tracking up and down. Let's see if I can get a better angle for y'all here. So the setup is important. Pressing my butt, my lower back, flat back against the wall. My feet are about a foot away from the wall. Put my elbow into the wall, back of my wrist into the wall. Then I'm going to track it up, straight, and back down. And that wall gives you a perfect guide. So that's called a wall angel. I'm going to show you a different version that's actually easier to do. We do this one from the floor. It's the same thing, but from the floor. I'm just flatly laying on the ground. I'm going to track up and down. Trying to keep those elbows pressed in. So again, we have the wall angel from the floor. Another one we can do, we can just articulate our arms with our elbows on the ground, and we go back of the wrist, front of the wrist. And that's an internal rotation and then an external rotation in the shoulder. Internal, external. Now you're going to have the best luck because these are not a strenuous exercise. You're not going to get yourself super tired doing these. They take quite a bit of focus. And if you do these really consistently, you'll find that those shoulders begin to change quite quickly. That's it, Hardy. Good. There it is. Yeah, and you can start with the slides. Good. Good work, Hardy. Good, Leslie. Again, you're finding where the range of motion is not optimal, and you're exploring through the range of motion. You're imagining that internal and external rotation in the shoulder, which is super important to unlocking shoulders, is to build that proprioception so that you can tell when your shoulders are internally and externally rotating. And from there, you can begin to do it more and more. That's it. Oh, you're just on mute, Leslie. You can't, let me unmute you.
Whoops.
There you go.
Before we finish, can you show me on the wall again? Because I just want to make sure I know where the arm positions start and finish.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, I definitely see what I can't do. It's good.
Yeah. That's good, Hardy. I'll let you guys just continue to play around with that movement. Good work. And then we can start coming to our feet here. I'm going to show you another one. This one's a little bit more intense. It's called a bear crawl. And there's several versions of it. So we can go standing. Just going to place my hands down on the ground here. And I'm just going to walk forward. And then walk backwards, crawling. All of the crawling exercises are hyper beneficial. All of the crawling exercises are hyper beneficial for PD. Good work, Hardy. This one is just a bit more of a multi-limb engagement. And you can also crawl on the knees if the feet are too hard. You can also come down to the knees and just work that forward crawling. Yeah, it's hard on the wrist, eh? Yeah.
You got to build up the wrist, I think.
Yeah, you got to build up the wrists. So with these ones, you would just want to take it until that wrist is sore.
A little less pressure, I guess, from the knees.
Yeah. But again, you're building the movement confidence. So if it doesn't feel too hard from the knees, that's okay, because that motion when you're pulling the arm backwards, when you're backwards crawling and then forward, is really good. And try to do little baby steps with the knees and little baby steps with the hands. So just like 2 inches, 3 inches at a time, little step with the hands and the knees, little step, little step. That's it. Try to pick that knee off the ground and step it back a little bit, one at a time, Hardy. So pick up that right knee off the ground. There you go. And just pedal those legs forward, stepping with the knee, stepping with the hand. There it is, Hardy. Good. That's it. That's what we want. That's it. Good. You can keep working on this one. You can feel it yourself. That's it, Hardy. As those knees get unstuck, you're going to find a complementary benefit in your arms and shoulders. Try to step your right knee and your left arm at the same time. And then your right knee and your left arm at the same time. And then left, right, left, right. So the left hand picks up and the right knee picks up. And then the opposite. And you can go both sides at the same time. You can explore it.
I've tried both sides at the same time, that by accident. That's a little harder.
Yep. That's it. Take a little rest there. I'm going to show you. Yeah, so that stress you're feeling, Leslie,
Yeah,
there's good news and bad news. Which do you want first?
I like bad first.
The bad news is you're going to experience a lot of pain as you rebuild that wrist.
Okay.
The good news is the pain in the wrist rebuilds it. So there's a position we get into with a barbell called the front rack position.
Mm-hmm.
And that front rack position is, sometimes I put, my entire body weight into my fingertips in my front rack position. And I've noticed people with Parkinson's, when they get in that position, it's just so hard on their wrist and forearms. But it's one of those things where they describe it as, oh no, it hurts like hell, but it's a good pain. They can feel that massive tension into the fingertips and just how it pulls the wrist back and engages the core and the legs into it. It's a full body stretch into those fingertips and wrists from that front rack position. And I've seen over time that all that tension actually gives it a lot more flexibility and mobility, and it alleviates the pain over time. But again, the bad news is there can be quite a bit of pain to get through until you're experiencing lots of improvement. Now, the next one I'm going to show you here, this is grip strength and shoulder stability here. So on this one's really simple. It's just a dead hang. So I go to a pull-up bar. I'm going to hold on to that, and then I'm just going to dead hang. You take some of you, it'll only be a few seconds at the beginning. But whenever you go to a gym or you have a pull-up bar, You're going to want to focus on that dead hang from a pull-up bar. It's a really, really good exercise for the shoulders. I wanted to mention that one today. Well, I know you guys probably don't have a pull-up bar in your house, but it's a super good. With these shoulder exercises, again, you just want to hit this exact routine every second, third day. And you want to do that for about 6 weeks, and you're going to have some improvements in the shoulders for sure. And then over time, like a lot of the exercises we do in the classes are shoulder. We do a lot of shoulder work, right? We do a lot of upper body work with the dowel. But the work we do in the classes, we're kind of building overall comprehension. So we're building extra mobility and extra coordination. These exercises are just going to help that along a little bit faster. So work from the floor, hang from a bar, and work on. I'm going to show you that wall one again. The wall angel, if you could only do one exercise, I would probably pick the wall angel. I'm going to break it apart in more detail here. So I start with my feet about a foot off the floor. I'm going to press my butt in, my lower back, trying to get my whole spine touching. And then my arms are going to come up to a 90 degree. And from that 90 degree, I'm going to extend overhead, lock out, and return. My wrist isn't leaving the wall. At the beginning, your arms might be out here, but you're just fighting to get the wrists into the wall and keep the whole back on the wall the whole time.
But 90 degrees to lock it out.
What's that?
So it's 90 degree to lock it out straight.
Yeah.
But a wide Y, I guess, a wide Y.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my arms are. See that 90?
Yeah, 90.
Straight. 90. Straight. 90. Yeah, the wall is perfecto for the, because it gives you a movement guide. It gives you all the feedback that you need in it.
Yeah,
So
gave a lot of
put on some music. Again, like with these exercises, it's beneficial. Like some of these components that I've learned is you guys need you need the direction and you need the verbal cues. That's true. If you're working without that, you're not going to get very far. But then after you've had those verbal cues and you're alone, try it by yourself. Set a stopwatch, put on some music, and flow through those movements for 30, 40 minutes. Don't have a big expectation on yourself. Just try to focus on your range of motion where you're constantly saying, oh, okay, my wrist wasn't touching there, right? Trying to wake up your own proprioception and your own ability to know what's going on with your body. And you want to approach that with a little bit of a play-based mindset where you're just exploring through different movement. You don't have a big expectation on how many you have to do. You just do it until your focus starts to wane a little bit, and then you switch movements and you move between 3 or 4 stations. That's a really, really good technique to do.
Yes. That's also loosening up the shoulder fascia.
Yes. It's all fascia. It's really all fascia. Fascia is such a...
This is not only dopamine related.
It's not only dopamine related. Like fascia it's the electricity in the system, right?
Yeah.
It's the energy. It's so when like in these Western models, they're constantly trying to get more allopathic, right? They're saying, okay, it's a dopamine problem. That's what it is. Let's figure out everything about that. But that's just not how the body works. And as you learn to contract, like you'll see in the classes that I'm constantly trying to get you guys to learn to engage one set of muscles into another set. And that set is constantly varied, right? Whether it's everything goes through the abdominals, right? All limb movement has to go through the abdominals, right? So then as you learn to engage your abdominals and your scapula, as you learn to engage your calf muscles and your trap muscles, different movements will reveal different contractions in different different muscle chains. That's the fascia talking to each other.
Yeah, and Parkinson means a lot of contracted fascia.
Blocked fascia.
When loosening them up, then we trigger the energy flow.
In fact, thinking about them, literally thinking about them is the first step.
About the movements.
Okay, so you know that scapula exercise?
Yes.
For most people, whether they have PD or not, they haven't consciously contracted their scapula in so long that they have forgotten it's there. So the first step in rehabbing people is to get them to actually feel, oh, okay, I can actually pinch my shoulder blades together at the back. And then when they're doing an overhead squat and their arms are all forward, now they've learned to squeeze that scapula so they can open everything up. Fascia gets more energy in it when the range of motion is complete. So if you have a limited range of motion, there's not a lot of energy in your scapula, in your fascia. As you increase the range of motion, you're increasing the overall energy into the fascia.
Like a spring loading a spring.
Like loading a spring, but it's also like you imagine a map, right? If you had a map of, let's take a map of North America and imagine that map is your fascia. For most people, the borders of the country have condensed. The country got a lot smaller. As you increase your fascia, the globe comes bigger. The map gets bigger, right? And so to do this stuff, thinking about it increases your range of motion, right? As you learn to think about your range of motion, like when you're crawling, for example, that's why babies program their limbs through crawling. They learn how to use their limbs from crawling, right? And in people with Parkinson's, the system is restricted. The energy isn't getting through. Now it's dormant. Then it's like in muscles are really especially true for this. You use it or you lose it. So my kitty cat, I think it like really almost severed a tendon in its shoulder. So it came in one night and now it's, took it to the vet, got x-rays, nothing they can do. And so it's limping, right? Couldn't use it for a week at all. The pads on its foot were drying out, right? But now I watch it, and then like 2 weeks later, I saw him stretch out his claws. I'm like, okay, the signal's there. And now I can see progressively it's just slowly starting to regenerate through movement. So any injuries, like when I cut my calf muscle last summer, I cut my calf muscle 3 inches in. So I severed the fascial connection, right? I still had the strength to walk and run, but I had no fascial connection. So I'm limping. right? I can't walk perfectly. And I just had to slowly, day by day, bring back that fascial connection. It's actually wrong to think about the body in terms of muscle and skeleton because they're dead. It's the fascia that makes it all alive.
There's the intelligent network.
Yeah, so like next time you have your steak, just try to take the steak in the middle, Leslie, and just open it up a little bit and you'll see those little thin slides of white matter. That's fascia. So it connects the entire body and it's an electrical connection. Yeah.
Okay.
So remember, you can increase your range of motion by thinking about it. First, you think about it, and then you perform it. And the more you focus on your range of movement, the better you'll get at it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a new way to think about the body. It's a more complete way. It's a more realistic way. It's a more truthful way to think about the body. How they've taught us to think about the body isn't very helpful. I've noticed this, like you're doing an exercise with people and they're stuck. I call it the sticky spots in Parkinson's. And literally through somebody telling them, okay, now pick up that left foot more. And then they don't realize that they're not picking it up all the way. And then you tell them, pick it up, and then they can do it. And you can get them through workouts like that, and you're improving the muscle at that point. But because the mind-body connection is degraded in Parkinson's, that's why when we get into the psilocybin and things like that, that actually helps the fascia work overall. It's part of the unsticking process. So just keep working on that. What's that?
To release the trauma out of the fascia.
Yes, it's a major deal. Like, again, back to an injury. When you're injured, the pain gives you a fear of the movement. So you restrict the movement to let it heal, right?
Yes.
The body, right? So we have to restrict movement to let the muscle fibers build back and stuff. But if you don't rehab it, if you just let it physically heal, muscles healed, the skin's closed up, there's no more structural injury, but you don't do any movement, you now have a fascial injury. You have to rebuild that movement along after it's healed, right? If you did nothing, you'd have a dead limb, or you'd have limited range of motion. You have to rebuild back the range of motion. So becoming a master at range of motion it's one of the things that's been handed to you if you have PD. Your range of motion is your holy grail to long-term independence, right? Keeping your range of motion. Like when you're doing those crawling exercises, Hardy, you can see how it's hard to get your knees to unstick, right? But after a couple minutes, you can pick them up and you can move them better. That means you're on the right track.
I need to move more.
Yeah. In fact, just doing lots of flow stuff, like picking up the dowel and just going through your own dowel exercises for 20 minutes, half an hour at a time. Right, all on your own with no expectation of a program or I have to do this many reps. You're saying, okay, I'm just going to move this dowel as concisely as I can.
To straighten the arms, for example, overhead.
Yeah. Yeah, and playing with it. Playing with it. Good. On that note, I'll let you guys go. I got to get my son ready for hockey here. We're going to be doing I'm going to do a group call today at 1 or 2. I got to figure out the time still. So if you're up still, Hardy, you can join us for that one, and I'll put up a PDF on it.
Join. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
We'll see you guys in a few hours.
Thanks a lot, Lars. See you later.
Bye.
Very helpful. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Ciao, Leslie.
Ciao.